As a former two-time governor of Edo State, I said it before that the next governor will also come from this family. Our brother, our son, our pastor, come and celebrate tomorrow.
Next year will be greater. Amen. It will be the state that will be hosting the birthday.
My name is Mr. Maswe Omoriyi. I am from Edo State. I am forced to speak on a political show of shame going on in our beloved Edo. It is not only absurd, but it is incredibly ridiculous and shameful that APC has allowed Osagie Ize Iyamu to join the Goba race under its platform. Ize Iyamu is a man with such an unpalatable history and antecedents who played a key role in the government from 1999 to 2007 that crippled the state infrastructure wise and economically, such as the fall of plundered breweries and other inactions that kept the state in comatose. His simple agenda is nothing but a front to loot the people of Edo again. The story of Osagie Ize Iyamu joining APC to run for the party's ticket has left Edo people confused. In 2016, Ize Iyamu was dubbed enemy of the state, a thief, and was the candidate of PDP who fought APC right to the Supreme Court. What has changed?
To speak on the issues involved in this election. We talk about jobs. 3 days ago, that man, Pastor deceived people. He had the guts to talk about better breweries. Better breweries, as he acknowledged, was working. We are going to play back that tape. PDP and Ize Iyamu as the secretary, he confessed like a witch that they forcefully, these were his words, we forcefully took over the company. In a democracy that is defined by rule of law, how can an elected government in a democracy, quote unquote, forcefully take a private company? And that became the beginning. Then he went on. They were collecting, according to him, from better breweries, 25 million naira every month. That is what he said. But now, as the custodian of the treasury of Edo State, I can tell you those money went to his pocket and the pocket of his then principal. Is that not correct? And by the time they left, Better Breweries was owing 2 billion naira, which they borrowed to steal, and the company was closed. And Churchgate went to court. As we speak, that matter is in court, which is why we are not able to reopen the factory. Then he went on. When Channel asked him, Pastor, are you corrupt? He was dazed, but the response of the crowd helped him, because when the crowd booed, he was now trying to reorganize. You don't understand the trick. As you were booing him, he was thinking of what to say. Then he said, no. For once, he was stammering. I'm not corrupt. All right. Did you take 700 million? Yes, but I have explained myself. We'll find out if really he has explained himself.
Without mincing words, Ize Iyamu is desperate to grab power. Having fallen out with his party, the PDP, for diverting campaign rights for his personal use and funds which he could not account for, he decided to cross over to join APC because he has been told that he can never be trusted and would never get ticket in PDP. Such a man whose eyes are suddenly fixed on desperate attempts to fleece the state of its scarce resources must not be trusted with power. How can Ize Iyamu, the thief, who has EFCC hanging over his neck, be twatted as a frontline aspirant for APC? Haba, Edo people, can't we get it right? Edo people, you must shine your eyes. Ize Iyamu must be rejected totally.
I'm talking about Ize Iyamu. I talked to you how he went to school, so I'm also obliged to report as follows. And we are We are liable if we say anything that is libelous. I bear full responsibility in my personal capacity. I waive my immunity. I set my immunity aside. And I declare as follows before God that the other guy, Mr. Ize Iyamu, he has a very interesting lifestyle. Now, because of crisis of identity, he went to carry a Bible and said he's a pastor. I am born again. Now, his work experience. First job, PA to who? Lucky Benedio. Second job, chief of staff to who? Lucky Benedio. Third job, secretary to Edo State government. Other who? Lucky Benedio. That's all his creations. After Benedio, he retired and started building his private homes. Finish. Now yesterday he wrote, when he cannot dispute the fact that in Uromi, PDP government with Ize Iyamu as secretary to the government, they didn't build school, they didn't build road, they didn't do anything. He now said, no, he cannot be blamed. Read today's papers. He said, Ize Iyamu said he cannot be blamed for the failure of Igbenedio's government. Now there are two issues here. So he agreed that the government failed. Correct? The only thing he's saying is that he is not to be blamed. Alright, if we will not blame him for the failure of the government in which he was chief of staff and secretary to government, would that be the reason to promote him to the office of governor? No. Hey. Now what is the truth? He went on to say he has never been indicted in his life. Is that not what he said? And that he made his first millions while he was either 21 or 31.
However, I am traumatized by the political fallout in Edo State. It is terrible that APC as a party do not practice what it preaches or seems to play by the rules. I am pained to see the foregoings, and because of the security of my family in Benin, I have decided that I would shield my identity. Now to the issue that has left Edo political agape, jaw-dropped and confused. The alleged backdoor candidacy of Pastor Osagie Ize Iyamu and the newfound romance with Oshiomhole, the APC national chairman.
Now I challenge him, because you must know why you must vote for or vote against. The PDP candidate, as a student in University of Benin, the very university that Minister Fashola attended, they both read law. PDP candidate was rusticated for 2 years because he took acid and poured in the private part of an Edo student, and that student is paralyzed today, although he's still alive. And he said he was never impeached. And it will interest Mr. President, it is one of your advisors, Professor Ize Iyamu, who chaired the committee that indicted him. So even as a student, he have been going through this season of he cannot speak to character. Then he said he made his first million at 30 as a PA. If your PA says he made his first millions working as a PA to a local government chairman, do you need any other evidence that is not a fit and proper person to occupy public office?
In 2016, Oshiomhole, as the then governor of Edo State, exposed the inherent deceptive, dishonest and despicable character of the self-acclaimed pastor. He told us that he is a looter who siphoned state resources as SSG under Lucky Igbeneghu that crippled Edo State. EFCC is prosecuting him for diverting campaign funds as we speak.
Like somebody pointed out, not only have they jailed them serially, they still have cases that are in court. Are you going to, even if, remember the proverb of the mechanic, he says to see say he look dirty by what he wear, not say the grace, the nature of his work.
Now in 2020, the same Ize Iyamu, having decamped to APC in the later part of 2019, is now the newfound love of Oshiomhole. Ize Iyamu, who is a thief and a heartless, vile pouring acid element, is now the best because he has crossed over to APC, led by the same Oshomole.
Nobody should assume that because you are who you are, that you have forgotten. So you do not have any candidate worth voting for in the PDP. Because if you did your apprenticeship for a political party and with people who have been committed, the only thing you have learned is how to loot. Edo cannot return back to that era. We cannot.
What is Oshomole playing at? What is APC playing out? Is APC national leader Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu aware of this show of shame? Is President Buhari aware of these ugly happenings under Oshomole? Oshomole, allow Edo APC to choose an acceptable candidate. Don't play God. Ize Iyamu must be rejected by all. Edo people, make una shine una ayo.
Edo mako, umewa eniri Edo mi, utunoti Edo tuwa, iya para bobo, enough ye call,